everyone, Reaper here again with another video. Last night I was on the chat with Nick, and we briefly touched up on this, talking about books that, I guess it's speculation. I know sometimes people don't like to hear about speculation and all that stuff. Well, this is sort of like that type of video. But I don't think necessarily I'm letting anything out of the bag with this video, because I talked about the books I'm about to show. I'm only going to show two in this video and other videos, but these two books here I think are extremely important and have longevity. Okay, sure, there are a lot of spec books out there that will be pretty hot for maybe a couple of years and then they might cool off. I mean, I could easily throw Amazing Spider-Man 13 in this video because that's a pretty hot book, and right up until the trailer for that next Spider-Man movie comes out, you know, it's going to continue to get hotter until that time. But I do think that Amazing Spider-Man 13 will fizz out a bit after the movie, whenever that movie comes out. But I think that the two books I have here, movie or not, have longevity. These are books that you could keep in your collection longer than just a few years, that I think will continue to appreciate. Okay, like I said, we touched up a little bit on this last night on the chat, but I just figured I'd throw a quick video on it to share with everyone. Okay, now I've talked about this before. Once again, I'm going to talk about it again. A Fantastic Four number 48. I think that this book has, you know, some may say it's a spec book, some may say it has a lot of potential. I say it has longevity. I really believe that this is not just a book that's shooting up in value right now, which it is, and then it's just going to, you know, have like a meteor descent down into the atmosphere. I don't believe so. Will the book plateau a little? Maybe. I don't know. But I do think with the way things are going, because the movies, when it comes to value, and I know people sometimes don't like to hear about value and all that stuff, but value does drive a lot, you know, when it comes to these books. Like the value of, I should say movies. Movies drive the value of a lot of these books. And I definitely think that for those that are interested in that, or just interested in having a good book, this is not just not your typical spec book, okay? It's not. It's a very important issue for anybody who's a comic book fan. It's the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, cameo of Galactus, but it's also one of Marvel's, at least for the Marvel 60s, one of their most intriguing storylines, and one of their biggest series. Fantastic Four was huge in the 60s. Really, that's the series that got Marvel on the map. And to have that three-part coming of Galactus and the introduction of the Silver Surfer, who later got his own series in the late 60s, which was fantastic. Fantastic. How could you not say that this book does not have longevity? It's not a flash in a pan. I think it's been undervalued, to be quite frank, for a long time. And I think now it's starting to, you know, people are starting to really catch up to it. Because I remember a couple years ago, I'm going to get to the next one in a minute. I remember a couple years ago, that book wasn't moving. But now it's starting to shoot up, and I think it's going to continue to go up. And I mentioned this on me and Nick both mentioned this on the chat last night. I think that this book has potential to explode. Now, it's kind of expensive as it is, but not as expensive as it was a couple years ago, or even a year ago, especially for the grade I have. I have a 3.5, this one right here. And Nick mentioned another book which I think has a lot of potential, Submariner number 1. You could still get that book dirt cheap, $100, under $100 for a decent copy. I don't have that copy. Maybe one day I will. But I think other than that one in particular, this one right here, as soon as Namor is announced in some type of movie or whatever, this book's going to go right to the stars. It really is. And it's getting kind of expensive in low grades as it is. It really is. But definitely a book that has great longevity. But once again, a value and speculation aside, it's not just that. It's that these books are very important to the Marvel Universe. You know, the reintroduction of Namor, who was a big anti-hero for Timely and Atlas back in the Golden Age. And then you have the first appearance of the Silver Surfer. He's a pretty big character in the Marvel Universe. So taking speculation and value and all that stuff that some people dislike about this hobby and putting that on the shelf for now. Books that maybe you should put into your collection just for the sheer joy of collecting and the joy of having. You can't go wrong with Fantastic Four number 4 and 48. Now, granted, I know they are getting kind of expensive. It's not easily affordable. They're not necessarily $200 books or less than $100 books. But I would say they're definitely worth getting if you can get them. They definitely have longevity. Thank you for watching, everybody, and talk to you soon. Take care.